Hey Zach, how are you?
Hey, doing good. Yourself, Dennis?
Good. What do you do drilling up in Pennsylvania? Are you in the oil business?
Yeah, pretty much. I oversee oil and gas operations for energy companies. So I work as a consultant and kind of implement the office guy's plan and just run the whole field show.
Wow, that's pretty cool. How'd you get into that?
I went to school for geology, and then back in like 2006, I was out in Western Montana, and I met this nice guy, and I lent him some money to go into business with him, and he totally fucked me. And then I had all this debt that I couldn't pay back. So I was like, well, where can I make the most money the fastest? So I moved to Midland, Texas, and started working the oil patch.
Oh, that is wild. What were you doing
and
in Montana? Were you drilling for oil in Montana?
No, I was just messing around. I was pretty burnt out after undergrad, and I just went out west to play for a few years.
Where'd you go to undergrad?
Earlham College in Richmond, Indiana.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Huh.
yeah. So I worked
That's
for the Forest Service out there for a while, and did some noxious weed inventory, looking for invasive species out in like central Idaho, and then yeah, moved up to Missoula area, worked at ski areas, hot springs, tree climbing, burrito shops. Yeah, had a good time.
uh, my brother-in-law lives in Whitehall
Mm-hmm.
and tans buffalo hides for a living, which he's done for 20 years.
No kidding.
Yeah, and he lived in let's see, he lived in I always mix up my names. Up near the God, what is the name of that town? It's where the big university is. Is that Missoula?
Yeah, there's Missoula, and then there's another large school in Bozeman.
Yeah, he's up by Missoula. He has a master's in Indian ethnology, and he
No
worked at the
kidding.
Lewis and Clark Center for about 10 years. Um, and he tans buffalo. He actually doesn't tan them. It's called softening, and he does the authentic old Indian way. And his buffalo hides are bought all over the world by museums and collectors and people who really are into that kind of original way of doing things. He's something else. He's a real character. That's all I
Is
can
it
say.
is that the old brain tan method?
Yep,
Yeah,
yep.
yeah.
He's actually figured out that that was a later thing that they did. They did other things before that, and so he's always doing different things, and he's got about 9,000 people in a Facebook group that follow him. That
Wow.
all many of them are also in that field, not necessarily with buffalo. They might be doing elk or deer or other hides, but yeah, he's kind of an expert on Lewis and Clark and the Plains Indians, and it's a trip, is all I can tell you. And
It sounds like a
he
fun guy.
he he doesn't have electricity. He doesn't have water. He lived in a teepee for about 20 years,
Yeah,
and just recently started living in a container that he bought and modified, a shipping container
yeah.
on 46 acres that had been totally wiped out in a forest fire. So he bought it because he knew another one would not go through there. So he's very happy.
That's I guess that's true. There's nothing left to burn.
There's nothing left to burn. It was an eye-opening experience. I went out there and spent about 2 weeks with him, and I had never been to Montana, so it was. We went out to Big Hole. He speaks at a lot of national parks and stuff. They'll hire him to come in and give talks, and it's pretty funny.
A neat life he's carved out for himself.
Yeah, he's an
What's
interesting
his
guy.
name?
He really is. He's different.
I'm sorry, I'm like,
No problem. Let's see here. Okay. All right. Hopefully I got everybody. Um, yeah, he's something else is all I can say. As
hey,
he said,
Dennis,
as he said to me, he said, cultural anthropology majors don't make any money, but they make the best party guests because they have the best stories they tell.
I can believe that. I've got a buddy that does that. She's outside of St. Louis right now, but to work out in Utah and Portland area, looking at old stuff out there. And for a while, she was doing mostly just work for large wind projects, doing archaeological stuff. before they'd come in and do that construction.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hey, Dennis, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can.
Hey, what's that guy's name
What guy?
that you were talking about that did the hides for the
Oh,
buffalo?
that's my brother-in-law, Billy Maxwell.
Okay.
Yeah, happy to connect you with him. I warn you, he's a trip. You'll be exhausted before the conversation is over.
So does that mean your wife's cut from the same cloth then?
My wife has a master's degree from Smith and from UVA,
Oh, shit.
undergraduate from Wake Forest, total brainwave, superstar. And Billy has a master's degree in Indian ethnology and an undergraduate from NC State.
Nice.
And you know, he's ridiculously smart, but he just doesn't want to play by the rules of normal society. And you know, as he said to me, he goes, you know, Plains Indians lived in teepees on the Great Plains for 1,000,000 years and never froze. So don't feel sorry for him that he's in a teepee, because he's actually very comfortable. So I don't know. He's different. He came back here because of his mom's funeral. And two quick stories I'll tell. The first one was, we had this wake and we had all these people in the house, including 4 nurses from the hospice group that had been with us for almost 6 months. And I looked up and they were completely in a circle around Billy. And he was telling some kind of story. And they were nodding and smiling and all this stuff. And one of them came over to me later and goes, "We're all going out to visit Billy." They're all married with kids, you know. It was so typical. I couldn't stand it. The other thing that he did was unbelievable. We went to this dinner with an old friend of his that they were in Boise. He was an Eagle Scout and all that stuff. And this guy was too. So they hadn't seen each other in a long time. And the guy's 20-year-old daughter was there also. And so we were just talking and he was cooking up a big dinner. All of a sudden, Billy gets up and he comes back with a big square of paper. And he goes up to this 20-year-old girl, says, "Let me have your foot." And she puts her foot down on the paper and he traces both of her feet. And then he leaves and goes into the other room while we're talking and waiting for dinner. He comes back about 15 minutes later. He had made her deerskin moccasins on the spot that were just awesome. And she was just, you know, she was thunderstruck. She'd never met a person like this before. It was just that's just life with Billy. It's very, very different life. And he's a great guy. He's one of my favorite people, but he wears me out sometimes. He's a little crazy, I think.
Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
That sounds fun.
Yeah,
That sounds fun.
I guarantee if you meet him, you will never forget. He's really handsome. He's really physically fit because he works so hard and lives outdoors. I mean, he's 55 years old. You'd think he's 30, you know, the way he looks. So he's my hero in some respects and my nemesis in others. Okay, so here's what we're going to do today. The guest speaker didn't work out for today. He will get him back never, but anyway, at some point it was the strangest experience I've ever had. So this is a ECU guy that really wanted to speak to our class, and I just couldn't work it out. So so what we're going to do today, we're going to look at a couple of live streaming commerce things. And any questions you might have. And that's my plan. All righty. So I'm going to share my screen and we're going to start with, let's see here. Yeah, this one here. Okay. So one of the things I wanted to do to show everybody, can you guys see my screen okay?
Yeah.
Okay. Hopefully. It should just be blank, a big black screen, hopefully. You got the, okay. So one of the things we've been talking about live streaming e-commerce, and we've kind of focused on the comment sold idea, if you will, which is somebody ding. So I'm trying to see where they are. If I'm supposed to let them in. Let me hold on 1 second. Oh, yeah, okay. There we go. And I wanted to show you something a little bit broader than that, just to kind of give you a sense of what's going on. So I'm going to show you, this is a very short video. It's only about a minute and a half. But this is an example of a live streaming e-commerce platform. God, people keep coming. Let's see what's going on here. Hold on. Sorry. I'll try to get it. Okay, there we go. For those of you just coming in, our guest speaker didn't work out for one reason or another, so we're doing some other things. So this is an example of a live streaming commerce that's different than what we've been talking about with the comments sold and using Facebook and all that kind of stuff, which I think is a great place to start. But I wanted to give you a sense of kind of what's happening and what the future might hold. So I'm going to give a short minute and a half video of an app out of China called Taobao Deals. And this is going to be in our YouTube channel if it's not already there. So let's give it a shot.
Getting a deal without losing quality. That's Taobao Deals. Created by Alibaba in 2020 to bring factory direct products to Chinese consumers, the app quickly became popular with shoppers from less developed areas who wanted to upgrade their lifestyles in affordable ways. These aren't overstock or closeout items for cheap. They are top quality products direct from factories. Where do the savings come from? Well,
So I just want to make a couple of points here. This is aimed at rural people. So this, by definition, is something that folks who live in rural areas, it might be tailored to them. And even though so far it hasn't shown much about the live commerce, but what they do, all these scenes that you're seeing are scenes from live streaming on this platform. So I just wanted to point that out.
Alibaba's digital tools and technologies such as payment, logistics, and data analytics inform traditional manufacturers. That lets them upgrade supply chains, improve production efficiency, and lower their costs. Alibaba calls this strategy C2M, or consumer to manufacturing, that improves the supply and demand situation in e-commerce. As Taobao Deals continues to grow and expand to new categories such as agricultural and fresh produce, it becomes a platform that cuts out middlemen who serve.
Okay, again, I want to stop here. Did you notice that they've added agricultural products and produce, and they're specifically pointing out that they are cutting out the middleman and going direct to consumers. Now, we all know that means somebody has to ship it, right? Somebody has to pick, pack, and ship it. But it's interesting to me that they're taking what I would consider relatively low margin product, right, and shipping it directly to consumers. And so I think that's a very noteworthy, and apparently this has been a huge success in China. To the point, I've shown you all some videos in the past, I think, of farmers going live and selling their crop live on the air. This is kind of in keeping with that, and it's really about building a direct-to-consumer channel, which I know all of us are interested in as well. So I just wanted to give you a sense of what's happening. We just got another couple seconds of this.
Services raise the cost for farmers and manufacturers. Ultimately, these advantages benefit consumers, making it possible for them to buy single products at lower prices, right from the manufacturers.
Okay. So let's see here. We're gonna switch out of that. So basically, this is basically making the point of going direct to consumers and cutting out middlemen. And in this case, they put farmers and other growers in the same category as manufacturers, the way they're looking at it. So I think that's pretty cool. And I like that a lot. And, you know, when you go live, and this is where it gets a little bit complicated, and I don't want to complicate your life, but the reason I have been so focused on comments sold at the moment is because it's the lowest cost way I can think of that will connect your inventory to a buyer during a live stream, right? If you just go live, if you just stick your camera on there and you go live, let's say you figure out how to do it on your website, that's nice and that may be helpful, but it's a bear to connect that to your e-commerce system. And same thing with if you develop an app. So the comment sold platform is a good way to get into this, if you will, and to have that help with the integration in the back end. And I know that Joe McEwen of Booze Dogs is actively doing this. He's going to go live in May with Comment Sold. He's actually recruited on-air talent to actually be the presenters, which I find amazing. So he's going to have some pitmaster from somewhere is going to be his first one. I think from North Dakota or something. God help us, right? But anyway, he's making a real effort on this with Comment Sold and with his idea of a show or regularly scheduled event. One thing also to know about Joe, in case you didn't, he's actually sold on Home Shopping Network in the past with his website and other the other one, QVC, I guess. So he has that background that maybe some of you don't. So I'm really anxious to see how he does and lessons learned, and I think we're going to learn a lot from that process. But I hope all of you give some thought to that idea. I do think going live is a way to share your personality, your unique value that maybe you're used to doing in a physical store or a physical way, whether it's a farmer's market or a grocery store or some other thing. I find all of you very interesting people with a great story, and the more you communicate that, I think the more customers you will get, assuming you can figure out how to deal with it all. And it's not the easiest thing in the world, I grant you that, but it is doable. So that's what I have to say about that. So now
Joe knows his audience with the North Dakota pitmaster.
What's that?
I think Joe knows his audience with a pitmaster from North Dakota.
Yeah, I mean, people that drink a lot and eat, processed meat, can't be that huge an audience, or maybe it's a huge audience and I'm the rare. Yeah, I don't know.
It's true.
But,
just 45 and younger though, they weed themselves out after that. Yeah.
Yeah. You have no choice, right?
I did want to say one thing. I was listening to Marketplace. I think it was Monday with Kai Rizdal there on American Public Media, and he was talking about comment sold and live selling, gaining traction, increased popularity in the U.S. Anyways, it was interesting to hear that parroting what you've been saying.
Yeah. Comment sold's been featured in Wall Street Journal and Barron's, and I think they're on a run rate to gross $1 billion this year, which is crazy, right? They literally started by this guy who wanted to help his girlfriend who had a clothing boutique. So he built the application specifically to help her, and then they turned that into a business. They've only been around a couple of years, so it's pretty crazy. So, okay, so now I'm going to go into a little bit more detail about the opportunity with Alibaba. And I promise I'm not going to go through this whole thing, but there's a couple of things I want to go through and share with you guys. And this document that I'm going to be going through is actually in the Slack channel. And if anybody needs it some other way, I'll be happy to provide it. But it's called the Partnership Playbook. And it's just a way to give you a little more background about what's going on with that. And we'll just spend a few minutes going through a couple items. So hold on here. Okay, there we go. All right, hopefully you can see that all right. Is it full screen on your screens?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yes.
Because it's not on mine, so I just want to be sure. Okay, so we've kind of talked a little bit about this, but what is Alibaba.com? It's the largest online marketplace for global B2B, not B2C, but B2B e-commerce. We talked about it being similar to a trade show in the sense that you're gaining access to potential buyers of your products on a wholesale basis. This is not retail. And as I pointed out also, they don't hold any inventory. They don't have any of their own products. They do not provide their own logistics. So very different than Amazon in that sense. They're not trying to steal your customers directly. This is a little hard to see. Let me see if I can make it a little bit bigger. So one thing on here that I thought was really interesting is note who is number one on their platform, right? So it's US buyers, followed by Australia, Canada, and the United Kingdom. These are all places you may want to be, right? In terms of countries. To me, it makes sense that that you'd want to reach these people. And they claim to have 10 million active buyers. That's a number. But even some of these other countries you might have some interest in, if not immediately at some point. Okay, so I went backwards. Sorry about that. Let me go this way again. Okay, so this is given a little bit of a sales pitch as to why you should list your products. Main thing they're saying is we've got a lot of US sellers. We have high quality standards and US brands trust them, which is important. But it's interesting, only 1% of sellers right now are US companies. So the opportunity for you all is pretty significant. Meaning that as you sign up, you'll get more business maybe than you might expect. So anyway, this is not really relevant to us. This is a bunch of detail, but basically once you sign up for the platform, they have all kinds of activation programs. And I won't go into all the details, but they will work with you to optimize your offers that you might want to make the Chinese market. That's a basic bottom line here. I think one of the things that I think is really, really valuable is this premium storefront creation. Think of it as your global platform, right? This is how you could conceivably do business around the world, even though that sounds crazy. It actually isn't. And this platform will help you do that. They have other things down here, local support from our New York sales, marketing, and success teams. That's who I'm working with. I'm working with the New York office. They're all Americans. It's just like dealing with any other company. There's not strange language or weird stuff to deal with. And they actually have this success team is basically people who work with companies who sign up to sell on it. One of the big things that they offer, I think, is copyright protection and fraud prevention. One of the problems in dealing with Chinese markets, especially if you're dealing with Chinese consumers, is there's a lot of fraud and copying that goes on in China. If you have a product that turns out to be hot and sell a lot, you can bet that someone in China is going to copy it and try to sell it, either a name similar to yours or some other attempt. And that's not a problem on the Alibaba platform. They're pretty good about that. They know the issue and they work pretty good to keep that stuff clear. Let's see here. I'll go through all of this here. One of the other things they do is co-marketing opportunities. And what this is all about is taking part in their efforts to build their audience. Zach just referred to a story on American Public Media about content sold. That's an example of comments sold trying to build their brand awareness. So if you're doing business with them, you can see that on American Public Radio. You might even share it with your audience just to give them some familiarity with who you're working with, who your partner is. It builds trust. So they have this B2B Today series, which is kind of like a podcast, I guess. 12,000 visitors a month, a lot of information. They also have webinars and live streams. So we've been talking about all that. Who knows, you may be featured on an Alibaba live stream and, get a lot of people involved. And I think some of you may have products that are unique to China, and they may well, I'll be hustling them like crazy to pick you guys for these things, but they might be interested in learning more about, rural North Carolina and some of the stuff that you all are doing that might catch their eye. And then the other thing here, they have their social media channels and other efforts to reach small businesses in China who might want to buy your products and sell them in China. They do have these online trade shows every so often. 2.3 million viewers on their last live stream, not bad. Sometimes they work with partners that could both benefit you or you might even be a partner they would work with. So they have deals with MasterCard. Some of you may use ShipStation. I don't know. These are partners that may be a benefit to you or potential customers. A bunch of newsletters, stuff like that. They're going to be launching this certified partners page. I don't think they've done that yet. So here's the process of how you qualify for the program. I'll help you with that. This is the cost I told you about, the $2,500 in the first year, and for the basic listing, and then a premium listing, and then after that, it's as you can see, it's $13.99 per year after, no matter which plan you pick. The idea of the premium plan is to get as much attention as you can when you launch. After that, it's all the same. So to me, just do the basic and hustle them to get featured. That's the way I would do it. Yeah, so this is new for Alibaba in 2021 to do this, and I think they'll help us get the word out about who we are and what we're trying to do. So that's it for Alibaba. Any questions, opinions, thoughts on all this stuff at this point?
I think it's great. I just hope I can execute it. It's a lot of information.
Yeah, what will happen, at least with Alibaba, is they will have a team that will work with you. They have an onboarding team, all Americans in New York. So it's very easy to deal with them, and they will answer all your questions, and they'll keep me posted as if I can help or bribe them or something, I will. But in terms of dealing with these guys, it's pretty easy from what I've seen. All the stuff that I've learned from their teams. I haven't had to read all this crap, and although I do anyway. But in terms of working with them, pretty low friction because they want to make it real easy for you to participate.
Well, I think that comment sold in this Alibaba, it sounds like it's the ticket for all of us, really.
Yeah. I think the comment sold maybe be a higher priority, just because I think you guys all could benefit from more customers and more followers, etc. I think building that up is a good first step. And I think, and I think engaging with Alibaba, having a conversation about your product, how you would do it, and figuring out it doesn't make sense for you to look at a platform like this, and they'll work with you and help you. I don't want people spending $2,500 or even $4,000, whatever the number was, unless you really know it's a good fit. I don't want to do a fishing expedition where you have no idea what you're getting involved with. So I think the Alibaba thing is more a platform to really work out the details, and don't forget, I want to work with Economic Development Partnership to see what money they would give you guys to do this. That's a other side of it. North Carolina as a state is really focused on promoting exporting. So let's have them help us to the extent that they can. So I think the comment sold and going live, I'd like to see all of you with 1 million visitors and followers that you're talking to, and really get your websites going. And then I think this idea of selling in other markets makes a lot of sense. You know, I think in order of priority, some of you are a different position than others. Some are newer, some are bigger, et cetera. So each one of you have your own situation to kind of consider. You know, all of these resources are available on our website or our YouTube channel, or just ask me and I'll get it to you in terms of anything that you want to do. But my suggestion is to write all this down in kind of a project list. You know, what your priorities are, what's most important to you. We've thrown a lot of stuff at you, you know, for 10 weeks, and there's no expectation that you've internalized all that data. It's really more about being aware. I think all of you have had your awareness raised about what might be possible, you know, and what you might be able to do. And then our job will help you with Brady, myself, you know, the interns and whoever else we have helping us. We'll work with you and help you kind of figure it out. But you're going to have to figure out your priorities, what you know, where you're at, what you're trying to do. So you have to figure that out first, and then start taking steps in these various you know, really they're strategic initiatives is what it amounts to. They're strategy moves, which you have to figure out how to, you know, how to execute. And in some cases, maybe you shouldn't execute. Maybe it's not something you should do. So my goal has really been to expose you to this. And one thing I think for all of you, especially those of you that are moving toward the Shopify platform, don't forget about Guten and about those products. I really think that's a no-brainer. It doesn't cost any money. You can build your brand. You can give another reason for people to buy from you. I think there's a lot to be said for selling stuff like that. I know in Ron Elkin's case, I wear the T-shirt he gives me. He didn't give it to me. I bought it, but every week I wear that T-shirt and people ask me about it. So I'm a big believer in that kind of stuff. You know, so that's something to keep in mind. I think the Guten, or even if you only go 2 or 3 items, you don't have to go 240 items. You know, I mean, 2 items is fine. You know, for no upfront cost, I think that's a really good brand building opportunity. I don't see any reason not to do that, unless you guys have some other deal or some other. The one gate, I guess, in that whole thing is getting the graphics done, right? Someone's got to do the graphics. I don't even know if Guten does that, if they even have that option. They might. I really haven't looked into it as far as designing, but I think all of you have resources where you can find people that could design something, a logo or something, or like a T-shirt or whatever, or just see what other people are doing and copy them. That would be my vote. But I do think that's a smart way to go with your websites.
With when you launch onto comment sold, that might not be a bad idea to have a couple of items in the background.
Yeah, or sell them on comment sold, you know.
That's what I'm saying, as your website kind of thing. Yeah,
you can sell them in comment sold, you know. And I think you know, Jenny had the idea of a kit where you combine products from a couple of you might have something, you know, where you do together. You know, that's another thing you can do on comment sold or on your Shopify site, you know, perhaps or any site. I mean, not just Shopify, but you know, I think that's a really good idea. Things that you could do to build your brand. You know, we also talked, I think Ron's been doing this in terms of blogs and writing content. I don't know if any of you have followed Simple and Sentimental on their social media, but she is posting content there all the time. I mean, even stuff that seems totally unrelated, like somebody's birthday party or whatever. She's just constantly posting on social media about Simple and Sentimental, and that's how she builds traffic on her website. So it works. And, you know, you can do it on LinkedIn, you can do it on Instagram, Facebook, whatever, Twitter, all of it's possible. So I encourage that whole idea of content creation as well. Easy for me to say, right? I don't have to write it, but that's something you guys, you know, can consider.
Hey, Dennis.
Yes, sir.
I wanted to share too that I've also in the last week signed up for. You actually get a free trial period of Comments Sold. So we're gonna give it a shot as well. So we've signed up, you know, just through their website for Comments Sold. And one thing I will say is I've been going through some of the setup my own, and I'm probably going to reach out to Brady or someone else on the intern team to maybe kind of help me finish it off. It's a lot of technical little things you have to do in the background to get it ready. So if anybody wants to jump into that, I would definitely get some help. I'm pretty technical savvy, but there's a few things that just like I had to really scratch my head a little bit and jump around. But I'm excited about what we're going to do. We're going to go with the whole, you know, kind of local yokel live show kind of thing. We've got our guys who's our outside sales, and he wears a cowboy hat all the time. I mean, all the time.
Oh, I love it.
We're gonna play on that and try to make it fun, but also be something that we can, you know, share our information and things for that too. So we're very excited, and I'll keep you guys posted how it goes for us also.
Well, also let us know when you're going live so we can come on and boo and stuff, you know.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Also, I expect nothing less.
That's
as long
right.
as you get sold, you know, something you
That's
can
right.
boo.
Marco knows how to do all this. So if you reach out to Marco, he's actually doing it for Joe right now. He's doing the integrations with Joe's site and Comments Sold. So he actually knows what he's doing. Marco, just FYI, he's an actual computer science major. He's actually, I think, like the top student in that college, I think. So he's pretty sharp, and he should be able to help you.
Perfect. Well, I'll definitely be calling on Marco then.
Yeah. Reach out to him on Slack. Those guys respond good to Slack for some reason. They ignore emails. I've learned that.
They don't. No, they're good. I reached out to Brady the other day, Dennis, and he said to get Marco on the like you were talking about, Ron, with like Shopify or how you get your site set up. And apparently it's not about me, but I think mine will marry up with Shopify real easily, or I have the same. So whoever built the bloody thing, it's like a Shopify account. I don't know anything about the e-commerce, so I have to have someone because I'm a complete idiot and all this stuff and don't mind all of it, every bit of it.
Well, I think you really should reach out to Mo Farhat. He's the guy who, I mean, he's a Shopify, what's called a Shopify partner, and he is really inclined to help our companies and teams. He'll tell you if you need something, or if he thinks it's a ripoff and you don't need it, he'll shoot you straight.
Who was that?
His name is, I'll put it in the Slack, Mo, M-O-E, Farhat, F-A-R-H-A-T. Mo Farhat of Webinopoly, and I'll post that for everybody. It's been posted before. I think you can find it, but I'll do it again. But several of you have engaged with him and found him to be really, really good and not money hungry. So he'll tell you if you don't need to do something, if he thinks what you got is good enough. And but he's also awesome and really talented, and he's got 50 full-time developers who work for him, do nothing but Shopify. He's done over 5,000 Shopify sites. He's one of the top guys in the country, but we've got him thinking cheap. So that's a good thing, right? So he knows. Go ahead, Wayne.
Would he be one to kind of help out with the SEO stuff?
Oh yeah, everything. Now, let me put it this way. Wayne, I'm sorry, not Wayne. What the hell? Oh, my mind is gone. The guy that we had speaking,
Alan,
yeah, from ClickFirm. He's the guy you want for Google AdWords locally. Yes, Mo knows it, and Mo can help you as far as technically being aware of that. But for actually doing Google AdWords, Warren Allen is specifically the guy for that. and it's warren@theclickfirm.com, but I'll post that also. We posted that before. He spoke it. We have his video up if you want to watch it again.
Okay.
Taylor Walden uses them. Everyone I know uses them actually for that purpose. He's really good. My Facebook ad guy is still underground. I'm sorry, I haven't been able to get him. But Warren may have a referral of someone he knows that's good at Facebook ads if you're interested in that. But as far as Google AdWords and all that, Warren's in a league of his own.
Yeah, you were saying Warren would be good. And what was the gentleman's name? It's back here in my scribble of notes, for God's sake. From the guy that came in that did branding. What was his name?
Oh, that's Andy Kurtz, Kurtts. And he's with Buttermilk Creative.
That's
and
right.
His video is on there too. You'll learn a lot watching that. But he's great. Yeah, Buttermilk Creative, Andy Kurtz.
Yeah, I just don't want to miss everything that you've taught, and I've written it down in notes, and God help me on that.
Yeah.
You know, it's like scribble hen scratch. I wish I had taken shorthand.
I'm gonna put you in the witness protection program because no one will ever figure out what the hell you're doing, you know?
That's long overdue.
I could just see the FBI agent shaking his head like, well, no one will ever find this woman. Don't worry about that.
That's the truth. I'll back you up on it.
Yeah, okay. All right. Anything else anybody want to bring up or talk about?
But you've got a lot of knowledge, and thank you so much for everything you do. This has been a fabulous class, I think.
Well, I'm glad. I'm going to be sending out a survey at some point, and so sing my praises so I can get more grant money. Keep it going.
Got it. You were talking about, speaking of grant money and the economic development guy. Are you talking about Michael Cole?
Let me see.
In that,
I think he's one of the guys. The leader is a guy named John Laycock, I think, and Michael Cole works for him.
Got it. If everybody's listening, he was excellent on this exporting stuff. You just have to fill out some kind of paperwork. And he has a lady that came on, her name is Jen, J-N. Anyway, they were very helpful. It's just a matter when you need it, we just have to show that we're trying to do export, and then which might be the Alibaba, which you'll get a lot.
Yeah, that's my plan. What I've told the Department of Agriculture and everybody at this moment that we're really focused on e-commerce and doing things electronically, and that we're working with Alibaba, to get this done. And they got all really excited about that because they know that Alibaba is big time. So they're the ones who sent me. I'm trying to find this guy right now. Let's see. Well, I'll find it, but their whole office contacted me, right? The head guy and all the Michael Cole and all of them. So they are aware of us. They asked me to send a list of our companies, which I did. So they're going to be ready to help you. It's John Loyack, Loyack. And
spell it again, John.
Yeah, John Loyack, Loyack. And he's a good guy, and he's the head of at least the export thing. So anyway, I will get you stuff on that because they were in a lot of trouble apparently. Not trouble, but the state was down like by 8% in exporting, and they feel the pressure to get more exporting going. So I think it's a good time for them, and I think they have some federal dollars. I haven't had a chance to really engage with them yet, but I will. I promise the next 2 days I'll find out how you guys approach them.
Well, they were real helpful in my case. That was what led me for this class, was reaching out to Michael Cole through Kathy Ma.
Okay.
And then Kathy sent me, your information, and I reached out to all, and Michael and his team and this guy was just like, here, they do have federal funds, state funds, and all kinds of stuff. If you're doing export, maybe this Alibaba thing would be, like you said, maybe,
They think it is. They think it is. So when
Yes.
their response to me was very, very positive over the fact that we are approaching it this way.
right,
So, you know,
I'll reach out to him too.
they'll say that until it's time to write a check, right? And then they'll tell us it's not good enough. So I know that game. I know that game as well. But at the moment, they seem impressed with what we're doing. So we'll continue to fire until they, you know, show their true colors and not give us money.
Well, like you
I'm
said,
bad. Can you tell I've been through this more than once?
I can tell you're telling the truth dealing with the government.
Yeah. Yeah, but when they call you, it's a good thing, right? So we're gonna see what ends up happening.
Okay. Well, thank you.
All right, everybody, unless there's something else, tomorrow will be Code the Dream, and Code the Dream is another resource for you to get technical stuff done. We talked about Mo and we talked about Warren. This is another one. This is a group that specifically is supposed to help you guys. It took them the entire 10 weeks to get to me. But Code the Dream is an operation in Durham it's certainly a good resource. They can build Shopify, they can do all kinds of stuff. So the guy will be interesting. And again, they're specifically supposed to help companies in our program. That's they're supposed to do that. So hopefully that's true.
There are three choices there.
Yep. I've not worked with them myself like I have with the others, but if they pass the test of NC IDEA, then they're fine with me. I can tell you that. And they're funded by Google and Microsoft. They're a big operation. They're nonprofit. They're all over the country, but their headquarters is in Durham. And the head guy who's going to speak tomorrow, the CEO, really likes what we're doing. So we have a little bit of an in there. I don't know what that's worth, but we do have a little bit of an in because he is from rural North Carolina and wants to help. So that always helps.
That'd be great.
All right, everybody. Well, that's all I got for today. So tomorrow we'll tune in same time and same station again.
Thank you.
All righty. See you all.
Thank you.
But you're welcome. Bye-bye.